Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel and thank you so much for stopping by. So today's painting is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be inspired by an experience that my family and I had this past summer. When we were on vacation this year in New England, we went on a whale watching trip. Now we've done a whale watch before, but we did one this year. We went with my sister Sylvie and her husband Kevin, and we just had a really great time out on the water. We saw a humpback whale, we saw a bunch of Atlantic white-sided dolphins, some birds, some other fish. It was a pretty cool day, and I want to turn that experience into a painting. So this is going to be a couple of layers. I'm going to start out by painting the background, which is going to be flip cups, as you can probably tell. One of those sort of like landscape where the flip cups end up going kind of horizontally. So it's going to be sky and water. And I think it's just going to be flip cups. It's possible I will swipe the water a little bit, but I want to see how it looks just as the flip cups emerge. And then once that's dry, I'm going to add in a humpback whale tail and maybe a couple other elements as well. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. My paints are all mixed with Floetrol. Now some of these I mixed today and some of them are leftover cups that I just kind of scrounged from around my studio. So some of them I don't really know what the color is, some of them I do. I will put the details that I know down in the video description. But I have lots of shades of blue and green and white, and I really tried to keep the colors kind of muted. Like this is the brightest blue I have, and I don't have much of that. Mostly I want it to be nice kind of toned down colors so that it feels very realistic and not too woo gaudy ocean. But I have some metallics. I have a few that I've made out of some mica pigments. So I mixed the micas with Pebeo Bindex and then Floetrol. And the video that shows how I do that is also down in the video description. So this one is gray and a mix of gray and black. This one is this little piggy Benevolence, which is a lovely sort of grayish, bluish, turquoise color. I have this one, which is Seashell or Eggshell or something like that, which is a nice kind of metallic white. And then the rest are regular colors except for this one, which is a DecoArt Satin enamel paint. It's called Seaside Blue or something along those lines. Again, video description if you want the details, but it's all mixed kind of to a medium thin consistency. You don't want a really thick paint for this kind of pour, otherwise your paints won't be able to interact with each other and make a beautiful scene. But I have a 16 by 20 inch canvas. These are sort of my sky colors. These are my water colors. And let's make a painting. So I'm going to do 3 flip cups for the sky and then 4 for the water. I'm going to fill the sky cups first, and then based on what leftover paints I have, I may put some of those into the watercolored cups if I don't have enough paint. Because for a big canvas like this, I think I'm going to need about 20 ounces of paint, which is a lot. And these cups, I'm not going to fill them all exactly the same. I want pretty much all the same colors to go into them, but I'm not going to layer them quite the same because I do want there to be some different dynamics in the sky. But for all of them, I'm going to start with some blue and some white. And I have a couple different shades of blue, so it should be a nice, interesting sky. I don't know why I'm using that. But I do want it to be quite pale, which is why I'm putting a lot of white. And I have just a little bit of gray, which I don't want lots of that in there. But I just thought, if we don't want the sky to look super kind of fairy tale, I want it to look realistic. Like whimsical, but realistic. Okay, some more of this blue. I like that. I like dropping it down in. There we go. Okay, I have 3 nice, pretty full cups. Plenty of paint still left. So hopefully 7 cups is going to be enough. I may need to add more, we'll see. Yeah, let me add another cup for the ocean. So it's going to be a tight fit to have 8 cups top to bottom, but I'll have 3 for the sky and 5 for the ocean. Alright, let's just start layering. So this one that looks turquoise, or teal, not turquoise, is actually Cerulean Blue that I added some black to, because I knew I was going to end up lightening it up with some white. That's how I got this color, and this color. But Cerulean plus some black, instead of just going sort of dark blue, it almost went green, which is really cool. Alright, now I'm going to start sort of alternating so that it's not all the same. Now, my satin enamel, I'm going to put small layers. I do not want huge green clouds to open up in my ocean, but I would love to have a little bit of that cell creating effect that the satin enamels are good at. So I'm just putting in very small little layers, hoping for little bits of kind of sea foam in there, but no huge pockets. Alright. Now we'll go back with the metallics to the ones that didn't get them before. And I'm going to put a little bit of white into each cup. Not a lot, but I would love for there to be some brightness in each of these cups. Right, I'm going to pour just a little bit of this brighter blue in here. Generally, I would say put the dark colors at the bottom, but I wonder whether having some contrast between the sky and the water would be better, to actually have it brighter in the foreground of the water and darker closer to the horizon. So I don't know, I'm just experimenting here. Let's put just a little bit more of the satin enamels. Put a little bit of a lighter blue in some of these. Alright, that one's finished. Let's put some more Benevolence in every cup. Okay, is that good? Okay, I have 8 layered cups. Let me see if I can get them all flipped. That's pretty good. Nice. Lost a little there. That was good. You just have to be bold with this. Nice and fast. Okay, and last one. Great! Okay, so I'm going to pull them all this way, and then we'll tilt it to stretch it. Now, some people, if they're doing 2 parts, they would do like the sky first and get it all stretched the way they like, and then they do the water, because when you have less paint, because it's already sort of spread out, it doesn't move as much, and you can move the second layer without moving the first layer too much. But I'm going to do it all in one go because that's what I generally do. That's what I'm more comfortable with. But there are different ways that you could do it if you're looking to make 2 different areas. Okay, and I'll do it from top to bottom also. So when you flip and if you don't want it to be a round puddle, you have to pull pretty fast as you. I'm going to make a quick little like corner catcher so I don't lose too much paint here right at the beginning. I know that's right in the paint, but this will help catch some of it and hopefully stop it from going too far off the edge before I have a chance to stretch it out. Alright, time to start flipping. Cool. Alright, so we're going off the side. I'll get this corner covered. That is okay. I love the swoops. So even though obviously we have a lot more paint on this side. I'm still pouring it out here because that will help. It'll help it to stretch later. Oh, interesting. Look at all that white there. And last one. Okay, we're already spilling over the edge. So I'm going to start tilting it a bit this way to touch that edge. Going to start just bringing it a bit to this side. And then before we go too far, I just want it to spread across the canvas a bit. Now I'll pull this tape off. This is so pretty. I love these colors. And we have really cool bands going across. So now that we've stretched it a bit this way, I'm going to take it back to get this covered. And I don't think we're going to lose way too much by doing that. Actually, instead of sending all the paint up here to this corner, let's just pour out a little bit from this cup across that top edge. There we go. That'll help a bunch. Now I'll pull it back, but I won't have to go quite so far, kind of up into the sky. And I'm just going until the paint starts kind of coming over the edge. You see there? Great. I'll pull it back this way. So I want to get that top covered, but I also want to get this bottom covered. It's making me nervous. I don't want to get my lines all confused. So let me see if I don't have a ton more of that. Let me mix just a little bit of this light blue and some white and pour a little bit more up top. Some of that. We'll give it a little mix. There we go. I think most of that's going to pour off anyway, but now I don't have to work so hard to get that side covered. And while I'm at it, I'll do the same thing down here. But I probably have... Do I have leftovers? Yeah, so I have leftovers that can be sort of filled in down here. And it's all going to get covered. Whoops. But having some extra paint down here will help it stretch more easily. There we go. Okay, let's keep tilting this out. Okay, we've made it to the bottom edge, so we can come back up now. Okay, so I'm liking this a lot. This bottom right corner is not my favorite part, and my lines are not terribly horizontal, which is also not my favorite. So I'm just going to have to go sort of side to side until my horizon ends up horizontal. Almost. Almost. All right. There we go. Okay. That horizon is not straight, but my lines are looking much better. Also, I have a lump of paint, which is why I stopped, because I want to pull that out before I stretch it anymore. Oh wow, it's like a big chip of something. Don't know what that was. Okay, let me think about what to do with this, because I absolutely love the colors. I love the way the sky is sort of swooping, but I would much rather have the horizon be a little bit more defined, so I don't know if I need to swipe the horizon. That's what I'm trying to figure out. While I'm deciding, I'll go ahead and cover the rest of my edges that are not covered. Okay, let me see if I can tilt this horizon a little bit straighter, because if I can tilt it straighter, I don't think I'll swipe. But if I can't get it straight, then I might swipe just to create sort of some, a different effect. And I'm going to go this way, so that I can see really clearly what's happening. Okay, so already it's straightening out a bit. Tilting in straight lines is so strange to me, because usually I'm always sort of walking the paint this way and that way. But for this, I feel like it really has to be straight lines. All right. Now that I've hit that corner, I'm going to come back and see if I can make some of these cells, which went weird, see if I can shape them properly again. Is that good? I feel like that's pretty good. So it is not a perfectly straight horizon, but it's pretty close. I really like this. I think swiping would have been cool, but I do like the pattern that I have here. And if I start swiping, I won't be able to stop. See, let me tell you what I am not loving. I don't love the big cells that I'm getting. So this, the greenish, that is the Satin Enamels. So that's making some pretty big clouds. Not a ton, but like in a couple of places. We got this big band of white, which I don't know if I love. I'm just wondering if I do some sort of wave swiping, whether it might not look a little bit more like the ocean. I think I'm going to try it. All right, so I have a couple different sizes of palette knife here, sort of a medium and then a very small. Let me start down here at the bottom and just make sure that I don't hate this. Okay, so it's definitely different than all the cells. I do think I like it, and I think I'm going to start here near the top, but not quite at the top. Okay, yep, waves are what we're doing. And I'm guessing at least half of you are going to be like, why? It was so perfect. But I think once I add the other things, it'll become more clear. I don't want it to look super perfect, which is probably good because it's not going to. All right, I think I'm happy with this for right now. It definitely looks more like water rather than an acrylic pour. I still love the sky, that's very dreamy and nice. And the places here where it's uneven, there will be things sort of covering them up, and I will probably even out that, straighten out the horizon with a brush once it's dry. But for now, I'm done, so let me give you a close-up. All right, let me show you some of these details. So the sky is really pretty. I love the white in there, like some clouds, plus that shimmery greenish color. Nice band there. And then this is really pretty too, also. Lots of those metallics showing up. And then the water here, okay, so that spot, that was where there was a big cell of the satin enamels, so I just sort of touched my finger in there to get that out, and I will fix that with a brush when it's dry. So we have a pretty decent horizon line, though it's not entirely straight. And then these waves are kind of interesting. I do think this looks more like actual water than what I had before. And I think putting a whale tail and some dolphins and stuff in here will look nice. So I'm excited to embellish it. Let me let this dry, and then we'll come back for the next step. All right, I'm back. The painting is dry. It dried very well. I did a few basic brush touch-ups. I evened out the horizon line, made that straight and even and flat. And then I also did a little bit of work throughout the waves, just kind of cleaning up areas where the swiping wasn't perfect, maybe adding in a little bit of a darker or a lighter color to add some more contrast. So I think I like how the water is now, and it's time to do the whale tail. So you see, I already have my tape stenciled down. I've made this with frog tape. So this humpback whale tail, I modeled it after a photo that my husband Josh took on our whale watching trip. If you don't know how I make these tape stencils, click either the link popping up here or down in the video description and I show you how I do it. I use these tape stencils for a lot of micro swipes and other things where you want a defined shape, and it's easy to make your own with tape. So I've gone ahead and stuck it to the canvas. I used my hairdryer to help it really stick well, and now it's time to add the whale tail. And my colors are just sort of black, gray, white. So I have a cup of black, which I didn't have before, and all these other colors are left over from this pour that I've already done. So the exact same paint, the exact same consistency. So I have my metallic dark gray, I have my light gray, white, and then Benevolence, because I wanted there to be a little bit of that sort of navy blue shimmer in there so it's not just black and gray. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. I have some ideas, kind of starting point. I have some swiping tools out because I think at some point I'm going to be swiping this similar to my octopus that I did a while back. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to mix a cup of some of these colors, and I'm just going to put small layers because I don't want any huge blocks of any color. Then once I have my cup sort of layered, then we'll figure out how to get it into the shape of a whale. But we just want some of these colors so there's a nice blend. Okay, this is more than enough. This is a little over an ounce of paint. Nice little cup there. Now if I pour this out right now, I'd get really defined ribbons of stripes of these different colors, and I don't want that. So I'm going to take a popsicle stick and just stir it a little bit. So I don't want to totally blend the colors, but I want it to come out of the cup a little bit mixed. All right, I'm going to start with sort of the, what do you call it, the base of the tail, not the flukes, this part. I'm going to start with that, and I'm just going to pour it really close so we get a pretty wide band. This is an experiment. I'm going to see how this works, and then if this works well, then I will do it with the top. That's really pretty. It's striping. I like the colors. Just sort of spreading it out so it fills that whole area. This is perhaps lighter than it should be. So I'm going to add a little bit of black up here right at the start because the tail part is quite dark. Black and maybe some Benevolence, just so it's not super stark. Okay, and then I'm going to swipe that down over the rest of this. This fly is driving me nuts. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let me wipe off my palette knife here. I like that from the swipe we get a little bit of, not physical texture, but it looks like texture. I'm going to use my straw because I didn't quite make it here to the edge. I love this. I think it looks great. The problem is, because I had to blow it here, there's kind of a pocket where it was blown, and I'm wondering if I should re-swipe. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe from the other direction. So I'm going to add the black here. Some Benevolence. And then I'll use a slightly larger palette knife here. My hand was shaking and it lifted. Do you see where it lifted there? Ah, should be a very simple swipe. I think it's because I was sideways. You know what? I'm just going to start over. Because I think if I keep re-swiping this same paint, it's going to get muddy. So it's not too late to sort of start again. I'm trying to keep the mud to a minimum. Got plenty of paint here. All right, so that looks better already, and I think before I start swiping, I'll spread it to those corners. I mean, that's really cool. That's a nice swoop, but I think I want it to look a little bit more realistic. I think it's going to be easier for me to swipe with a piece of plastic instead of this because that angle didn't work great. So I'm going to set this right here in that dark band. Just pull up nice and gently. Oh, that looks absolutely perfect! Nice and smooth, getting paler as it goes along, which is what their tails actually do, so I'm really happy with that. Alright, time for the flukes. I'm going to do them in the same way. I think I'm going to do them in the same way. Let me start by pouring this out and then we'll see. I mean, that's kind of cool just like that. I wonder whether I can just kind of stretch that out and keep that striping. I don't want to lose too much of the main part of my tail though. Alright, I think we're over that. Okay, that is interesting. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. On the one hand, it's not super realistic. On the other hand, it's very fluid art. It's hard to tell at this point where exactly the edges are. I feel like that's going to make a pretty good design, so I'm going to leave it at that. I also wondered about pulling up the tape while the paint was still wet, but I'm not going to do that because there's too many little like corners and stuff. So we'll just let this dry, then we'll pull up the tape and see how it looks. Okay, the tail is dry. It's time to pull up the tape and see how it looks. I will say, this little white kind of squiggly edge, now that I can see the outline of the tape, it appears that that is perfect placement for where sort of the flukes join up with the rest of the tail. So it may look really good like this. So let's go ahead and see. I have this little X-Acto knife in case I need to trim things carefully, but it looks like the tape is coming off well. Lots of different layers of tape here. Looking pretty cool so far. Tight corners can get a little tricky, but that one pulled up okay. Well, there we have it. That looks really cool. I am glad that I left it looking more fluid art-ish. I think I may have to tweak a couple of lines just to make it look, well, like this little bit of black that's up here looks a little bit strange. But I will be adding in some more details to make it look more three-dimensional and realistic, like adding some barnacles and some water dripping off. So let us jump into the rest of those touch-ups now. About those dolphins.
They were really great.
Did you like them?
Yeah.
What all did you see?
The baby dolphin and the other dolphins.
There was a baby?
Yeah.
Was it so cute?
Yes.
What did the humpback whale do?
Well, it kind of just did its dive thing, kind of arched like that, and then you saw his tail kind of disappear in the water.
Was it really far away or pretty close?
It was close. Real close.
Sounds like a pretty great day, huh? Alright, here it is all finished. I love this so much. Let me show you these details. So I love this sky as the metallics shine. It's just so interesting and whimsical. And then there's that laughing gull that I painted. Looks pretty realistic. And then down into the ocean, we've got the ocean sunfish fin. We've got these dolphins, which is really cool. And I put some silver on their sides so it is nice and shiny. And then there's the humpback whale tail. Now, getting these water droplets coming off and the splashes was deceptively hard, but I do really like how it looks, and I like how shimmery that tail is too, with the hints of blue and that sort of dark silver. So I really, really love this piece. I'm super happy with how it turned out. Thank you guys for joining me for this whale watching painting experiment. I hope it inspired you to try something new. Maybe you can take an experience that you've had and turn it into a piece of art. I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye guys!